adopt.
It's
yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
You know all about that, Ashley.
So how many people in my audience are pet owners? Pretty much everybody. My mother and I have 3 animals, 2 cats and a dog. One of our dogs came from a family friend, and our dog came from a lady here in Oxford who wasn't able to provide care for him. And then our other cat, Adora, came from the local Mississippi Critters Animal Shelter. Now, I know you're probably thinking, where is she going with this? Well, today I'm here to persuade you that it's a better idea to adopt an animal from an animal shelter than to shop. One of the many reasons it's better to adopt from an animal shelter is it helps alleviate the overcrowded shelters and also to decrease the rates of euthanization. Now, although the local shelter here in Oxford is a no-kill shelter, that's not true for other shelters around the United States. After an animal has stayed at the shelter here in Oxford for so long and it doesn't get adopted, it gets sent off to another shelter, and who knows if that shelter is a no-kill shelter or not. The local shelter here in Oxford, the previous owner, she did not like pit bulls, so every time a pit bull came in there, it got euthanized immediately. So that's one big issue. Even if you don't want to adopt from an animal shelter, like your preference is, you know, breeders, going through breeders and getting like a high-end dog, that's okay, but you can just refer somebody to the animal shelter. Maybe they'll find an animal they love. I know adopting our cat Adora from the shelter was one of the best decisions we made. Even though she was only there for 1 day, it still was probably very traumatic for her not understanding why she was there. It had many benefits for us, like it was a lot cheaper than adopting from like a pet store, buying from a breeder. I know they provided us with her first round of shots. She was dewormed, she was microchipped, and they even spayed her because she was a girl. So my mom used to work for the Animal Clinic of Oxford, and I know just to get an office visit, it was $60. That doesn't include the procedures or the shots done. When I took my dog there, I spent $150 just on his first round of shots because he's such a big breed of a dog. And for his second round, it was about $280 all in all. So you can pay $50 and get shots, dewormer, neutered, microchipped. And for those of you who don't know what a microchip is, it's a little chip in the back of an animal's neck. So if they get lost and get like turned into the local shelter, they have this little scanner tool and they can just scan the back of their neck or like the leg or hip or wherever, and it pops up your name, your address, and your phone number. So that's one of the many benefits from adopting from a shelter here in Oxford can provide for you. And another reason is, like I said, vaccinations. Like when you adopt from a pet store, you don't know if they've had their first round of shots or second round, if they've been dewormed, fixed, so you're having to spend more money on that. And then another reason why it's better to adopt than to shop is when you buy from a breeder, you're spending about $300 to $500 like on a average dog. I know some people charge up to like $1,000 for like pit bulls, depending on like if they're like bred through family. So that's very expensive because you're not counting in shots, like I said, all of that. So you save a tremendous amount of money, probably roughly around $800 if you get like a $300 to $500 dog. And another reason why it's better to adopt from a shelter is when you buy from a breeder, you don't know if that breeder truly cares about their animal. Like anybody can just throw a male and a female together and boom, have babies, but it doesn't mean that they should. People that breed animals without past history of the mother and father's genetics, you can get unhealthy puppies and possibly even inbred puppies. And most, I'm not saying all breeders, but from my experience with people that I know that breed animals, they just want to make a quick extra buck in their pocket for their rent, gas bill, whatever. I know my ex-boyfriend's family, they did that. And they had inbred puppies, so that really wasn't good for them. So, and even when breeders can't sell their dogs, they will just throw them in the shelter, which also refers back to my overcrowded shelter my overcrowded shelter point. Overall, adopting from an animal shelter is way better than adopting from your local pet store or buying from breeders because you're able to give the animal a caring home, and that's really all they want in life. You're able to save a good deal of money and time. This refers back to my breeder's point. When you buy from breeders, you don't know if the dog's potty trained, you don't know if they've been trained to sit, fetch, or whatever, and you're also getting a puppy. If you adopt from a shelter, you're getting a dog between the ages of like 3 to 11, so they should be potty trained and know the basic commands. So that's one benefit. You save a year's worth of time, if that. So overall, I think it's just better to adopt from an animal shelter, and I hope I persuaded you guys to adopt from a shelter instead of buying from a breeder.